I became involved immediately. I was part of SINCOAD, which is Southern Indiana Community Organizations Active in Disaster. We had a meeting just 4 days prior to the tornado. The day of the tornado, I went straight to Henryville to locate a missing nephew of mine who walked on foot from the school, who was okay. He ended up in a storm cellar. And was fine, but I immediately called my connection at Red Cross to say what can we do? What can the Y do to get started? And over that weekend, took toys up to Henryville and contacted Mary Sullivan through United Way to offer child care services immediately on Monday, because we knew those children would need a place to go, and that's something that the Y could offer. So over that weekend, I communicated about child care and we got that set up. Immediately started attending all the meetings because of my connection with SINCOAD, and was then shortly thereafter asked to be the interim chair of the case management committee to get the ball rolling, since that was really the first process.
So as chair of the case management committee, what sorts of things have fallen under your venue? Hiring them case managers, working, figuring out what cases were there?
Yes, initially, because we were all going into this sort of blind, it was pretty daunting. We had people from all over trying to tell us what we should be doing or what the end product should look like, but not necessarily how you get to the end product. So we had to bring in, we had to do case management training. So we offered 2 of those, one in Holton and one in Henryville. We had lots of people sign up for that and do the UMCOR case management training. We had to start coming up with a process of how we were going to evaluate each client to see if they were eligible for our services. We really started building this company from ground up, and case management was the first committee that really had to get going so that the others could fall into place. So we also had to apply for grants. We applied for the FEMA grant, the AmeriCares grant. I know there were several more, but those first few months, there were a lot of hours involved in getting that up and running. And then Kathy O'Day came along, who had experience, and that made my job a lot easier. So,
how many case managers did you end up with?
I believe initially we had 5. I don't know if that's exact. It's funny how you forget over a year's time, and it was so involved, but really initially was when my job was the toughest. Over this past year, it has gotten easier and easier and easier as far as my involvement is concerned. So I believe we had 5 to start with.
Tell me a story that's probably touched you more than anything else around this whole crisis.
Honestly, I would say what has touched me the most are the volunteers that have stayed involved through March to Recovery. Seeing people work so hard and not give up for people they'll never meet. That's been life-changing, to see that quality in others. It was our social responsibility to get involved, and our desire to continue to do the right thing that kept us there even when it got tough. That's been life-changing for me.
How do you think this has changed our community?
Outwardly, I'm not so sure people realize the beautiful infrastructure that has been created, and I think the sense of security if we had another disaster, that we know what to do behind the scenes. So I see that now, that our community can withstand anything. I'd hope that the outside community can see that, but I don't know that they would. They see that things are getting done and things are getting taken care of. But I would love for people to be able to understand the amount of volunteer hours and the amount of love and devotion and care that created March to Recovery and kept us going when we were being pulled in so many directions and sometimes being talked negatively about. We kept our integrity. We never stooped to saying anything bad or giving up or turning on each other, and we just kept drudging forward. So I think our community is a lot stronger for that. I don't know if they realize it, but those of us involved see it. I would say that there are extremely genuine people in this community, and hopefully in the community then, who truly care about the survival and the well-being of those around them, and are truly devoted to doing the right thing. And hopefully they can look back at this disaster in a positive way, that it did make our community stronger, that we did rebuild in a timely manner, and that the people in your own backyard, not outside sources, but the people who are your neighbors, who live in the town next to you, who live down the street, are the ones who never gave up to build it all back again.
Oh, that's great. Anything else you would like to say about anything?
Only that I'm very grateful that the wise devotion to social responsibility allowed me to volunteer and stick with us even when it took a lot of time away from my job responsibilities at the Y, that we truly feel that it is our obligation to do whatever we can to help our community. I'm grateful for that.